Welcome, everyone. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and I think I'm still full from yesterday. It's crazy. Today on the show, on our Friday, our Black Friday show, actually, this is our Black Friday show. Alan Ng will be joining me. We're having a big Film Threat shop sale, which we're very excited about. But the movies we're going to discuss today, Napoleon is told, based on the Thursday box office, that it actually beat Bish. Who would have predicted that? So many more films we're going to be talking about today, including Saltburn, Nyad, Maestro, which is the new Bradley Cooper movie. And I have a whole list of movies that we're going to discuss today. A lot to talk about, plus your chat. I am in Thanksgiving recovery, pre-coffee at the moment. I have 2 mugs full of coffee right here, ready to go. But I gotta find where is he? Alan, do you love refrigerator?
I love refrigerator.
You can read these questions if you can't see them. Here we go.
Yeah.
Alan.
We're back.
Yeah. Hey, you have a harp sound effect that keeps going on. It's very loud.
A harp sound effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
It hasn't gone off recent, but it was like going off. I don't know if.
When was this, like during when I was talking?
Yeah. During when you're talking.
Oh my God, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Do you have a loose button on your
there might
your
be
mixer
a loose,
there maybe or
loose button? Yeah, there is actually. Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate that, Alan. How was your Thanksgiving? How was it?
Oh, good. Good. Hey, we've been talking about how to raise your children, and one of the things that I did with my child was early on was you don't let her win. You don't let your children win when you play games. You beat them, you beat them, and you beat them. And me and my brother and his kids and my child, we played Uno, and my daughter is a ruthless Uno player. Thank you very much. Hashtag good parenting.
So the message, Alan, is beat your children.
Beat your children.
Definitely beat your children.
Show them no mercy.
Yeah, I'll say this. When I would play video games with my son, there was a point where it's just like I'd let him win every once in a while. You know what I mean? I just sort of let him. But the only game, but then it got to a point where he was of a certain age where I couldn't beat him at games. He got very good at games. The only games I could beat my son in video games were sports video games because I understood the rules and I could beat him at sports games. But
yeah, but if you let them win, they don't learn strategy, and that's
right. Right.
Yeah, you got to put a challenge in front of them that's insurmountable, and they have to figure a way to get beyond it.
Continuously beat your children is the message that Alan is saying out loud.
Absolutely.
No, I had a great Thanksgiving. I went to Orange County, or as they call it, behind the orange curtain, which was a lot of fun. Saw my aunt and my aunts. I have 2 aunts that live in Orange County, and we had a huge Thanksgiving spread. I mean, it was huge. So I have leftovers. I cannot wait for the leftovers. Like I am just like I'm not eating breakfast. I'm not doing anything, just doing coffee. And later this afternoon, I'm going to delve into those leftovers, which I'm sure a lot of people are doing. So I'm curious though, if the habit of going to the movies after Thanksgiving dinner or on Thanksgiving Day, if that is leaving us, because Alan, if you look at the box office for Thursday, if you could bring that up. I want to kick this off and talk a little bit about, we're going to get to your chat comments in just a minute. But why don't you bring that up while I'm gonna look at people's comments, see who's here. Hey, a very generous chat from Sandhya Kumari says, Chris, please do watch Animal on the 1st of December. All right, on the list. Anonymous says, Ing the Merciless. And Zodlander, member for 2 months, says, watched The Killer after you recommended it. Loved it. Yeah, I'm really curious about, appreciate it. It's a movie that, like, I really want to watch again. Just to kind of, like, I don't know. I just like to see it again because I know it's based on a graphic novel, a comic book. So I want to see it again. There you go. From Rumble, $8.24. Hail to the Crunch Beavers. So Alan beats his children is what I heard when I first turned on the stream.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ruthlessly, mercilessly beat your children.
Well, what Alan was saying was playing a game. It was about playing games with your kids. If you're tough on them and you beat them then when they go to play games with other kids, they'll be very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
That was what you missed.
And one other amendment to that is once they start learning strategy, then you start employing cheating. And then you teach them to spot cheaters.
Oh my God. We played a game last night with everyone. I love this game. It's called Left, Center, Right. Have you ever heard of this game?
No.
Okay. All right, next week, Alan, on Thursday, when I see you and a bunch of the crew that's flying in for LA Comic-Con, we're going to play Left, Center, Right.
Okay.
It's a very simple game and there's money involved. You're basically rolling dice and you've got a pile of money. So you've got singles, right? You got a bunch of money. And what you do is if you roll an L, you give money to your person on the left. If you roll an R, you give money to the person on the right. And if it's center, if you roll a C for center, you put $1 in the center pile. The last person with money wins the entire pile. It's as simple as that. It's
okay.
really a $5 game on you can pick up, and it is it's crazy fun. If you roll something where it's just a dot, you don't do anything. You don't give any money to anybody. So it really is just luck. It's fun. Super. We're gonna play it.
Okay.
So
we'll have enough people, definitely.
Yeah. Eric Stratton says, Hail Ing and his goreness. James Woolard says, here's hoping for a Chris farting segment again today. Well, probably not. I was like, I'm going to save this thing for later, but I did use the app last night and let me check. I'm just going to check if it captured any farts yet last night. If you don't know, there's this app called Shut Eye, and I use it to monitor my sleep because I want to get I want to be able to do better. I want to be able to get better sleep. So here I am. Look at this app. It records your farts. And it records farts, snoring, and yes, there was some flatulence last night. I'm not joking.
I can't believe this is a thing.
No, well, you should.
This is what
how well you sleep. Look here, I've got the app right here, and look here's a clip. This is just for Alan. James, you're a member. You asked, you got it. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. Thank you. Thank you. Riveting live streaming.
This is the intelligent film commentary that you can come to expect from Film Threat on any given day. All right.
I mean, it's bad enough we talk about boobs all the time. And now we're going to
wait. Who talks about boobs? Not me. That's Alan. That's you. That's definitely you. Oh my God.
I would submit one subject is more fun than the other.
Well, 100%. Yeah, I would definitely. We haven't done this one in a while. That's what you get.
Yes. A classic.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. It says Shaq Engelbrecht. Hey, we have to get Chris to watch Bahubali. It's like 6 hours of RRR.
Yeah, Bahubali is long.
Yeah, but it's also weird. I mean, in
Yeah.
a good way. In a good way.
Well, I
I
mean,
started
literally,
off-
it's like 3 movies smashed into one.
Yeah. Is this Chris's secret fetish, says Winamp? No, it's actually not. I just thought it was humorous that as I'm monitoring my sleep, that it actually will not just record and archive your flatulence, it labels it flatulence. Like this app is so good, it actually knows when you fart. So, yeah. And Carlos Alfredo Lopez, who's a member, says it's a dice scam, Alan. Don't fall for it. It's not a scam. It's really just a game of luck. And it gets really fun when it gets down to just like a couple people because everyone eventually runs out of money. Yeah.
It's a scam.
So it's not a scam. It's not a scam. All right. We're gonna pivot for a second and we're gonna talk about Wish. And I'm gonna change something here. I'm going to change something real quick. Let's discuss Wish, Alan. Wish opened in theaters. It's now in theaters for the holiday, and people on Thanksgiving. It is a tradition for some to go to the movies on Thanksgiving, and people did go to the movies. But you would be surprised what won the box office on Thursday, Alan.
Yes. Give me a second here.
I'm going to give Alan a second here.
Because it's coming up slowly.
Okay.
This is yesterday's box office.
Okay, yesterday's box office. So let's see how things did. 3.9 million for Wish on a Thursday. Napoleon did 4.3 million, nearly 4.4, and beat Wish at the box office. By the way, I didn't even know this. Napoleon is on Apple TV Plus. You can just watch it. You can subscribe to Apple TV Plus for, I think it's like $6.99, and you can have the whole family just watch Napoleon.
And it beat out Wish.
It still beat Wish, and then number one was at 5.9 million, the Hunger Games, the new Hunger Games. This is surprising. And coming up at number 4, 2 million for Thanksgiving. And it actually went up. It didn't drop from the previous. The Marvels, 1.3 million. And for everyone that I've seen some people I know that are like sort of going through and discussing like, I didn't think the Marvels was that bad. The box office tells a completely different story. The box office doesn't lie. The box office tells a completely different story. The Marvels is just not resonating with people, but neither is Wish. That this could be a predictor of what the final box office is going to be, because normally, look back at Thanksgiving days past, okay? It was literally a check waiting to be cashed.
Mm-hmm.
Disney would come out with a new animated movie and it would make $150 million, $200 million at the box office because it was the one movie that everyone would agree, let's all go see that movie. The fact that it's coming in like, behind Hunger Games and Napoleon, not great. That it's a big drop off from, I believe it opened on Tuesday or Wednesday. Is that right?
Yeah, Tuesday. And
Alan, in your honor, I was thinking of you when I did this. I did something kind of bad. I did something bad. Sometimes after a night of like going out, I haven't had a proper dinner, but I'll go out, see a movie. Maybe they serve drinks at the movie. whatever. And I'm on home, and there is a fast food restaurant that is on the way home. And it's one of those things like a beacon, this fast food restaurant, flashing lights. It's calling to you. And I was thinking of you, and I just got to show you what I got real quick here.
Oh,
Here it is. It's the
oh,
Disney's Wish. It's the first of all, I usually get a Happy Meal just because it gives me a taste of fast food, and it's fine. It's all I need, right? So here it is. But I did not expect this packaging. I didn't go there to get this. It just was, this was the Happy Meal. And Alan, I was thinking of you.
yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, you could give that to me next week, and the burger will still be good. There'll be no mold on it.
Oh,
It might be a little bit dry.
No, I'll give it to you next week. I will. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm just glad that they decided, hey, let's not go with the traditional Mickey, the one that everyone's familiar with. Let's keep going with this stylized Mickey crap.
It's a weird style. But
I think it comes from Japan, and it's Mickey has a specific look, and that's not it.
Alan, so what is your analysis of this?
I mean, look, this has been last year on Thanksgiving. I went to see Strange World, and it was me, a father, and his son. We were the only ones in the theater, so this has been going on for quite a bit. What strikes me is the 18.3 million total box office, and as Mike MC Wong points out, where's Trolls? This looks wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure why Trolls isn't up there. Maybe they haven't reported numbers for it yet, but I'm sure that will boost it a little bit.
This is by the way, this is just Thursday's numbers.
So
this
Thanksgiving.
This is Thanksgiving holiday numbers.
Yeah.
So but Napoleon does surprise me, and we're going to review Napoleon later today, later on the show. The fact that it's on Apple TV Plus, like you can just watch it, you can subscribe for a month for $6-7, whatever it is, and just see Napoleon at home. That surprises me. So what's really going to be interesting is what numbers come in on Monday. If only we had a Monday show to discuss.
Yeah, if only.
At some point we will. At some point.
Yeah.
Right now it's
one thing about Trolls, and this is anecdotal, but I might be later driving a bunch of teens to go see Trolls.
Wait, you're gonna, first of all, you've already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're gonna, oh my God. All right. Well,
I'm gonna see something else, but I'm gonna drop them off.
All right. Well, that's cool. So the other movie, it's not on our schedule, but we could review it if you have seen it. I saw Ferrari earlier this week.
I haven't seen it yet. I got the screener, so I'm hoping to see it this weekend.
Yeah, I went to a screening of it. I saw Ferrari. The main reason I wanted to go is because Michael Mann was there, and he was being interviewed by Denis Villeneuve.
Oh,
the director of Dune and Dune Part 2, which is coming up soon. So for our members, I recorded some of the conversation. For our members, I will upload the videos that I took of the interview that Denis Villeneuve did with Michael Mann. So look for that later today on the channel, on the community tab. So, and we've got some giveaways coming up too for digital codes. I have a code to give away for Spider-Verse. I think you gave away a code also, Alan. Did you?
Yes.
Post that yet?
Yeah, it was for the same movie.
There you go. I'm just going to post my code, and it's for whoever gets it
just
first. Members,
there's a little confusion. You redeem it at moviesanywhere.com.
Yeah, exactly. So first come, first serve on that. But Alan, where do you predict the final box office will be for the weekend? And the other big question is, how is Disney taking this information? The thing that we've seen over and over again is it's all the excuses, the hand wringing, and they blame the marketing. Oh, well, the trailers were not that great, or they blame a lot of other things. They blamed COVID. I feel like it's just the Monday morning blame game is what sort of kicks in with all of these things.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like the more news that comes out of Disney, the more you realize they're not paying attention. that
Right.
that they would. Yeah, it's our fault for not seeing their movie.
Right.
We are the bad people because we won't drive to a movie theater, shell out our cash, and pay for their movie.
Yeah.
It's our fault and not theirs.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm a little surprised it's this bad, but if Wish is not the number one film this weekend, the House of Mouse has to start thinking about what the decisions they're making when it comes to greenlighting these movies and spending as much as they spend, because the budget for this thing, $200 million.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean they're already making a great move. They're turning Frozen 3 and 4 into a two-part epic.
I think that's gonna bomb colossally.
Yeah. Especially when that third one fails and they're already locked into the fourth one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe see how it does and then go from there. You can have a little teaser ending and then decide what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, at least we know the music will be good, but if you've seen Disenchanted, you know that they're probably rushing the music and it's not going to be that good.
Right, right. All right. Really quick, I just want to let people know that here's what we're doing today, and we appreciate almost 600 people watching us live right now. Today is Black Friday. We're having a big Black Friday sale at Film Threat. We've got a coupon code that I will give you. This is our Black Friday sale. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. The discount code is filmthreat-ho. Are you a Film Threat ho? Film Threat-ho will get you 10% off on the Film Threat shop. We have all these there are actually 50 different designs of shirts. I picked up this one myself. I thought it was pretty cool. It definitely came with a little bit of inspiration here. And Lori, a shout out to Lori Ormond, who's sometimes in our chat. I saw she was in the Geeks and Gamers Daily chat earlier today. I also picked up this shirt, which is cool. So you pick the design of shirt that you want, and then you pick the color, and then you pick the size. So you really kind of get to customize, your shirt. Look at this. Okay, I saw a guy with an old-timey mustache wearing this gangly, skinny kid with a mustache that was like old-timey, like with the wax on the ends, wearing a shirt that said Feminist AF, and that inspired this shirt, Film Threatist AF.
And that person was Pauly, right?
And that person was Pauly from Latino Slant, was wearing that. So there you go. But there's also we have mugs and a whole bunch of other stuff. So just shop the sale. We have a wine tumbler. I actually did order the wine tumbler because I thought it was cool. I'm gonna be,
oh yeah, by the way, there we go.
What? What? Oh, there you go. Film Threat mugs. So,
there's nothing in it, but
yeah, no, I've got my mug too. Got my mug. There you go. So, oh shit. Damn it. I spilled. Things are not going well today for me. I'm a little out of it.
How much booze were your aunts pouring last night?
Oh my God, it was a lot. All right, I'm going to be right back. Alan, why don't you go to the chat?
Yeah, we'll go through the chat here. Let's see. We'll start here from JTPRX. Good morning, Ms. P. Coffee. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hate to break it to you, but Ms. P. Coffee lives in Canada. And so she was not celebrating. She was working and not celebrating Thanksgiving. Joe N. Let's make, okay. The movie business is only profitable with exclusive theatrical runs leading into eventual home release. They've screwed the whole industry with all the streaming wars of BS. They have. I want to believe that people still want that theatrical experience. That people want to go into a theater, be with people, and experience a movie together. So, I don't know. It's, it's hopeful thinking. Let's see. All right, there's a Napoleon comment. We'll save that. Another Napoleon. Here we go. From Rumble, BMO Better, a sub supporter. Alan needs to replace Kermit and put Mickey in the casket instead. Yes. Mike MC Wong, we got that one. Let's see. Let's see. Sandhya Kumari. Sorry, that's really small on my screen right now. Has become a YouTube member. Hey, welcome. Go to the community tab on YouTube later. Chris is going to post a link for a redeem code, and also join the Discord for the discussion. I went on it yesterday, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone except Miss B Coffee. Let's see. Here we go. Let's do this. Is this Chris's secret fetish? I was just thinking that maybe at night Chris needs to wire himself into a jar and start collecting those farts. Let me see.
How much would you pay for a fart?
Oh, I think we could save Film Threat with your farts.
My God, I got coffee all over my keyboard. I am currently cleaning it up.
God.
Folks, I'm sorry for this. Apologies.
Okay, I think we got that. Hey, Chris, you got to unstar these things when you read that.
No, what do you mean? I got
because you're reading though. Look, I can do it. Look here. Watch this. Watch this, everybody. Zodlander, member for 2 months. Watch The Killers after you recommended it. Love it. Look, I'm gonna unstar the comments, and then look, I can. It's taken care of. Took a second. Look at this. Eric Stratton, Hail Ing and his Gorness. And then I unstar the comment, and it just takes, it's a click of a button. You click it to activate it. You read it. James Woodland, here's hoping for a Chris farting segment again today. And then you unstar it, and it's done. Look at that. You could actually just highlight it and then unstar it. It's just that easy. Let's see. Okay. From Zodlander again, 50 Swedish krona. Is Film Threat going to review Netflix Japanese Tales of the Macabre? Macabre. I think Junji Ito makes fascinating horror manga. The series felt a bit watered down. Chris, are you going to review Japanese Tales of Macabre? He's not there. I'm not, but Chris might just do that. Okay, and then let's see. Let's go to Gesture of Roanoke, a member for 8 months. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for the support. A non $100 million opening for Wish seems disastrous, and you would be correct.
I agree with that, and I have to apologize.
It's also confounding that the movie was made for $230 million. When these animated features used to cost $100 million.
I spilled coffee all over my keyboard.
Yeah,
I had to clean it up, or I can't do stuff. I'm sorry, folks. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay,
and as he grabs a drink of coffee.
I'm trying to. I got home so late last night, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm off. I'm off, folks. So I apologize for that. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, Real Reviews says Napoleon is not on Apple TV Plus yet. It will be at a later date. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you, Real Reviews. Did you read that one?
No, I was gonna save it for the Napoleon part.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, let's do that. So yeah, and sorry, Crazy Cat. That's because you're wrong about that, Chris. Napoleon is not available to stream currently. An extended edition of Napoleon is coming to Apple TV Plus. Well, thank you.
Yeah, a 4.5 hour version.
Is that real?
Yeah, an hour more than what we saw.
Yeah. Well, let's we're okay. Let's just I'm out of it here. Let's talk. Should we launch in and talk about Napoleon, or should we get in like a quick review of something before we start?
Oh yeah, let's
Oh,
tease.
Maestro?
Sure, we could do Maestro.
All right. I have not seen Maestro. Alan has.
I have.
Let's get Alan's Maestro review. Alan, tell us about Maestro.
Yes. So I'll start off right off the bat. Maestro's not for everybody. But here we go. Bradley Cooper directed, co-wrote, stars in Maestro, the story of Leonard Bernstein. This is going on Netflix. Starts back at the moment when Leonard Bernstein was called at the last moment to conduct the New York Philharmonic at Carnegie Hall. His performance was incredible, and it launched a career of a great composer, conductor, and Broadway composer as well. From here, his career launches. He's the talk of the town. He's hobnobbing with the best of New York, and he meets Felicia, who's played by Carey Mulligan. The two fall in love, and for the first half of this movie, it is this love story of kind of a poor, basically of two artists, a composer and an actress. And clearly, at this point in his life, Leonard Bernstein's career is the one that's going to take precedence, and Felicia's is going to kind of take the back seat, but she becomes the brilliant manager of his career. Um, and about midway through the movie, till we get to the second half, we find out that as much as they seem in love, there's some rocky things happening. In fact, we soon learn that Leonard Bernstein has been hiding the fact that he is gay, and so now there's this whole cover up of him trying to keep his dalliances out of the public, people finding out, and then a wife who kind of has to walk that divide. And in the second half, it is now all about this odd relationship he has with Felicia, because he still remains a brilliant composer. He has taken lovers. He goes on many trips, and so this is a typical story, and it plays out basically through Bernstein's entire life. I really love this movie. It is the way it's presented. This movie is a work of art. It is a beautiful movie to watch. It is a fantastic movie to listen to. As you're going through Bernstein's life, the score of the movie is Leonard Bernstein's music, and it's this large, sweeping orchestral music, and it's set against these simple things of Bernstein's life. For example, on their first date with Felicia, he takes her to one of these black boxes, one of these basement theaters in New York, and they kind of walk around the stage, and it just move, it's moved, it's progressed by this just sweeping soundtrack. There's a moment in the middle of the film where they play the overture to West Side Story, and it's the moment where they're at their vacation home, and Leonard Bernstein brings home his lover. It's also the first half of the movie where they're kind of in this happy marriage. It's shot in black and white, and it's very much Bradley Cooper is a student of cinema, and the way he shot that first half of the movie, black and white, it's great. And then the second half is shot in color, and in that kind of 60s and 70s style of cinematic filmmaking. Bradley Cooper himself, he becomes Leonard Bernstein. Not he's he kind of makes it his own, but he goes through extensive makeup from beginning to end. He starts as a young Bernstein and ends as an older Bernstein, and he's in heavy makeup, and yet he's able to give an incredibly nuanced performance with just his looks. You may not appreciate the subject matter of this movie, but I think you will appreciate the art, the dedication that Bradley Cooper put into this. This is my vote. He's definitely got my vote for best actor. Carey Mulligan, best actress. Definitely best director. This is a monumental film, and I'll just say this: this movie has the 100% stamp of approval from the Bernstein children. They they mentioned it. They were at the premiere that I saw it at. They talked about how how important it was for Bradley to capture their father's performance, and they mentioned also that the children were not contractually obligated to be a part of this movie, and yet Bradley Cooper brought them in anyways, and constantly got feedback from them as the film progressed. So this is a very accurate portrayal of Leonard Bernstein. So again, you may not like the subject matter, but if you love the art of cinema, this is the movie to see.
I have one big question. First of all,
Yes.
you convinced me now. I'm going to watch this film.
Mhm.
Tell me about his,
in a theater. Watch it in a theater.
tell me about his nose.
His nose. I mean,
There's a controversy over the fact that they kind of overdid the nose makeup. But if you actually look at pictures of the real Leonard Bernstein, he had quite the schnoz.
yeah, he looks like Leonard Bernstein. This is another thing. The makeup artist definitely going to get nominated for an Academy Award here. He looks like Leonard Bernstein. He sounds, the sound and the performance, his vocalization of it sounds like Leonard Bernstein, but again, also sounds like Bradley Cooper. So, look, they didn't complain about Golda when Helen Mirren played Golda Meir. Why are they complaining about this? It's just people need to complain about things. We talked about over and you want the actor to look like the character, the person they're portraying.
Right.
Even Renee Zellweger when she did Judy Garland, they made her look like her. I mean,
Right.
I don't know why this is a controversy. That's my frustration.
Well, I don't know. I feel like
I know why it's a controversy. I don't know why
a lot of these controversies are manufactured.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I mean, what can you say? I just think, I guess, is it distracting?
No. Well, no. I mean, I think the part of the problem is going in to watch it. It was in my mind. The controversy was in my mind. So yeah, it stands out. But if you just take it as someone who, an actor who wants to look like the actual person, then you have to blame Leonard Bernstein for that.
Well, there you go. Look, we don't really have any. Here's a quick comment here from Adelis24 from Rumble. Pretty sure Cooper gets the Oscar for the nose prosthetic and the cultural climate. Possible.
Well, yeah. Actually, the cultural climate might actually prevent him from.
You think so? Yeah.
It's such a screwed up world right now.
Tell me about it. All right, let's pivot, and we're going to talk about a movie. We're going to get to Napoleon. We're going to talk about one more film before we talk about Napoleon, which is a movie that both Alan and I saw. And I'm still kind of reeling from this movie.
Oh my God.
I'm still kind of reeling from this film.
Yeah, I wrote the review this morning and I'm still reeling from it.
This film is called Saltburn. It will eventually end up on streaming on Prime Video on Amazon. It's the story of a young man at college who befriends the BMOC, or the big man on campus. This incredibly good-looking colleague at the school. He kind of saves him. The name of the character is Felix Catton. And so Barry Keoghan plays this guy, Oliver Quick, and he befriends Felix. Felix is incredibly good looking. All the women love him. The men love him. He's the big man on campus. He's the hero. He's the good guy. And Oliver is just sort of a regular dude on campus. He befriends Felix by lending him a bicycle so he can get to class on time. And they end up forming a friendship. In a way, Felix kind of feels sorry for Oliver because Oliver isn't popular. He's, just maybe a smaller dude. And Felix is like this, statuesque, big, like I say, BMOC, big man on campus. As people are going back for the holidays, Oliver confesses, I don't have family to go back to. And I recently lost my father. And Felix invites Oliver over his family's place. We go to what's called Saltburn, which is effectively this manor, huge manor. It's so big, it's one of those things where, everyone kind of has their own wing, and you meet other members of the family, of the Catton family. You meet Rosamund Pike, who plays Elizabeth. She's the matriarch of the family. Carey Mulligan plays a woman named Pamela, who's just a family friend, and they're all drunken rich people. They're drinking at all hours of the day. They're partying. Of course, they have butlers and attendants, because the place that they live is so huge. And of course, Oliver is taken aback by all of this opulent luxury and decadence. And things begin to spiral out of control. I will say this. For the first half of the movie, I found it infuriating. I found that none of these characters were particularly likable. They were just decadent, rich a-holes. And Oliver's kind of thrown into this world. And you see there are sexual dalliances, there is violence, and there's a lot of bizarre, unexplained behavior that could only be explained by, well, they're just a bunch of rich, decadent idiots. I mean, I don't know if you want to elaborate on this, Alan.
No, you can't. There's so much not to spoil in this.
Exactly. And then there is, and I'm not going to say what it is, there is something that happens at the very end of the movie that completely changes the movie you just saw. Not going to say what it is, but it's at the very end, that everything you've seen, you will look at 100% completely differently by the end. I did not love this film. I thought it was being weird for weird's sake, but the thing is this, I will say this, I love these actors. Like Barry Keoghan, the guy who plays Felix, Jacob Elordi. I don't know where I've seen him.
He played Elvis in Priscilla.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I never saw Priscilla, but I think that he's very good. And Rosamund Pike, always liked her. Ever since Gone Girl, really, really love her performance. So I just don't. Oh, and the guy from Gran Turismo, Archie Madekwe, he's in the film too. And he's also like really good actors in.
You haven't even mentioned Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant also.
He plays the patriarch.
Yeah, the patriarch of the family. He's very good. So like really good actors, chewing scenery, acting weird like they might be in a David Lynch film. And it's hard to find like, well, who am I rooting for? Who do I like? Like even Oliver Quick, who's the protagonist, who you're supposed to like, you don't really trust him. And he's just acting weird for weird's sake. He's seducing all members of the family in some weird way. He gains their trust.
Right. Well, I mean, you're speaking to this. This is a movie about class. And
exactly.
You're looking at a lower class person. He's at Oxford on scholarship. Dad died. Mother's on drugs, and he's given a taste of the opulent life at Saltburn.
Right.
And wants that life. You also, there's also there's a lot of implications that Oliver is in love with Felix.
Right.
You kind of, the whole movie is about Oliver and this kind of his journey, his path into a very dark direction. Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt the same way you did, except I was somewhat enjoying the first half of the movie, and then it just completely turned me off midway through. There was this grave situation that just went on forever, and I checked out of the movie at that point, and for the rest of the movie, I had nothing but hatred for this film. And I'll say this: look, Emerald Fennell, she won me over with Promising Young Women, and then lost me with this movie. She's a legit filmmaker. This movie is beautiful. The performances are great. but this story goes dark and dark and dark in a direction that after a while it was too much. It was too much, and I checked out. I disengaged from the film and was just waiting for the final moments, which at this point was not surprising
Right, right.
because because it's like, how worse could it get? Oh, it got worse.
It got even worse. But I'll say this: I did talk to somebody who saw the film, and I was saying how much I was like wanting to like it because
Mm.
that the cast is really fantastic. I wanted to like this, and I do like exploration of class disparity. I think is always interesting in movies. Like I mean, the movie Parasite, I think, is all
Mhm.
about that. I don't even think you could make an English version of Parasite because that film is so dark.
Yeah.
But this film, I just didn't like anybody. I had no sympathy. Even Oliver, who you're supposed to like, I'm like, why is he acting this way? And it really did lose me. It did lose me. But someone mentioned me. They said, look, I said, I know. I felt the same way when I first saw it. This person had seen the film a second time. He says it's so much better the second time because you know what's coming and you can kind of pay attention to more of the details and you notice things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you lost. I'm not going to see it a second time.
Yeah, I mean, the things they do is not more nuanced seeing it the second time. I mean, that's I get it. We all like those movies that takes a twist at the end and redefines the entire everything that you've just seen.
Right.
But you still have to see everything that you've just seen. And you talk about this all the time, but the job of a director is tone management. And this one just went way off the ledge in terms of tone, and to the point where it's not salvageable.
Let's go to your. So I really can't, in good
I can't
conscience, I can't recommend this film.
I mean, if you're if you're a masochist or you have a morbid curiosity, you'll probably go see this movie. But other than that, it's not a recommendation.
And morbid, I would describe many of the moments in this film. But it seems weird for weird's sake, and it felt like, you know, it just felt like this is based on a novel that somebody read the novel and said, "Oh my God, this would make such a great movie." And I don't know. I feel like you still have to have something grounding.
By the way, what do you think of Barry Keegan's helicopter at the end of the end of the movie?
I don't.
I know.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, the only way to even enjoy this film, if that's possible, is to just stay away from spoilers.
Mhm.
So stay away from spoilers and
And drink heavily before going.
but here's what I'll say, because I talked to a bunch of people after the screening. It is 50-50. People either loved the film
Yeah.
or hated this movie. I was in the not for me camp, but I was hearing people saying, "Oh my God, it's so great. This is one of my
Yeah.
favorites of the year." And
Because
the
I mean, I was thinking that while watching it, it's like people are going to tell everyone this is a brave movie.
right,
It,
right.
this, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it's there's some Kool-Aid drinking going on here.
Yeah. Well, not a recommend for me, Alan.
Not a recommend.
Let's go to your comments and questions here. Quick. Brock Sam said, I don't.
I'll just say I don't like to bring my Christian prude sensibilities to these films, but in this case, I had to. All right.
Well, Ryan Landis says, wait until you see it the fifth time, Chris. And then Theoden, King of Brohan, says, Ing the Merciless with the savage take. Aaron Taylor says, Saltburn versus the Holdovers. I haven't seen the Holdovers yet. I've only heard positive.
Oh, I thought you saw it. No, definitely Holdovers.
Yeah, I've only heard positive things. Saltburn, every person I've talked to about Saltburn, because it comes up in conversation, like, what did you think of this? Is the thing, what did you think of Saltburn? And they're kind of waiting for your reaction. And it's either it's wildly positive or wildly negative. So, and Anonymous referencing earlier the Maestro, journalists always creating faux controversies.
Yeah, we're always looking for something to melt down over.
You got to get that clickbait. And from 8Ellis24 from Rumble says, is there an actor more underrated while being in nearly every property than Barry Keoghan. I mean, he's one of the Eternals. Everyone forgets Barry Keoghan, the actor, is one of the Eternals, and he played Joker at the end of The Batman, which in a deleted scene, you can look up the deleted scene. He's not in the movie. They actually cut him from the film. You can hear him in the movie, but like there is like a deleted scene with him.
And let's not forget American.
I don't think it was a very good, they should have cut that scene. He was not very good. He did not have a take on that character that I thought worked.
And let's not forget American Animals. If you want to watch an indie film with Barry Keoghan. Now
that one I really enjoyed. That one's really good. It's a heist film. These
in fact, that one's better. If you're gonna see Saltburn, see American Animals instead.
American Animals is about a bunch of college students who basically pull off an art heist. They steal expensive art and they plan to sell it.
And it's a true story.
Oh my God.
And the guys who are involved in it tell their story alongside it.
Yeah, it's really well done. Strong recommendation for American Animals. Brock Samsonite, I don't think you're supposed to like anyone. It's supposed to be a psychological horror like Midsummer in the sense that identifying with the main character is comforting. That's a fair point. But look, there were a lot of people after the screening I was at that were raving about this film, but most of the ones that were raving, this was like my second time seeing it. It's so much better. And the one thing that did puzzle me was how much people were laughing while watching the film.
Yeah. Well, that's a common response to dealing with horrific images on the screen.
I mean, there's a scene where, I'm not going to say the context. There's a scene where there's a character that has passed away.
Yeah.
And Barry Keoghan's character
but
goes over to the grave and starts to fuck the dirt.
Oh. Yeah. You just gave away the.
No, that's not. I didn't like, I'm just saying this is one of the weird things that happens where you're like, why is he fucking the dirt? It's just like, yeah. But yeah, Brock Samsonite.
You're spoiling things.
No, that's not.
Yeah, this is a spoiler.
Anyways, Brock Samsonite, it's fair. Yeah, you're not supposed to like anyone. None of these characters are likable, including the lead character. All right, we've teased it long enough. People are, look, hey, it's me and HG. Jeez, Chris, talk about teasing. Get to Napoleon already. All right, your wish is my command. So there you go. We're going to talk about Napoleon. Let's get right to it. We're jumping in. Is that a good image to use? I don't know. I think we're going to change the way we do this stuff next year.
Yeah, that was a little better.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to it. Let's talk about Napoleon. Alan, what is the story of Napoleon?
Yeah. Well, if you don't know history, Napoleon was an up and coming general in the French army during just after the Revolution, as they're going to battle with England. And Napoleon, the best thing you can say about Napoleon, he was a brilliant military strategist, but he didn't exactly like the battlefield, but because he loved France so much, he was there on the battlefield with his men. Opening the movie with a very horrific scene with a horse. But as you know, Napoleon leads his armies to victory. People love Napoleon, and it soon becomes a tale of politics now, where the new rulers who are coming in are quickly ushered out. And eventually Napoleon and his brother and others decide that they need to take matters in their own hands, and he eventually becomes king of France. But behind all this, there's a woman played by Vanessa Kirby, Josephine. I got that right. Yeah, Josephine. She's a bit compromised, but Napoleon loves her. And much of the movie, along with the war and the battle scenes, is about this kind of love affair between him and his wife, Josephine, and the things they do to each other, decisions they have to make against one another. And so that's basically the story of Napoleon here. I will say this about the movie. At the end of it, it was like I think I just admired the fact that I watched an epic movie, an epic military movie that I hadn't seen in a long time. But I think I just kind of resigned myself to saying, this would be a great movie to show high school students in high school, because it is historical. You go through every single battle. You go through his life. You get an understanding of what France was going through as a country and as a leadership. With this film, you get a lot of history. You get a lot of education. Um, but aside from that, the best I could say is I admire the film. I don't think I was blown away, and I think ultimately I wanted to be blown away, figuratively speaking, and it just didn't happen for me.
Yeah, I'm in two minds about this film. So the film is like the Cliff Notes version of the highlights of
Mhm.
Napoleon, of the history of Napoleon, his battles in Europe, his rivalry with England, and
And everyone else.
and everyone else, other countries as well. But like also kind of just going through the major battles. So structurally, the way the movie works is it's Napoleon. It begins with his rise as a leader, this brilliant military strategist, and additionally, letters between himself and Josephine is also part of the structure. And it also, the film does a good job of saying, here's the battle. This is basically sort of setting the chess pieces of, here's a famous battle that was fought. It doesn't cover all of the famous battles. I mean, the most famous among them probably being Waterloo.
Mhm.
Um,
Which is at the end. Yeah.
yeah, near the end. And what ends up happening to Napoleon, which was something that I wasn't aware of, I thought was really interesting. They kind of give you this little epilogue. But the film, it's like, I feel like it's compromised in the sense that, and when that's why I said Cliff Notes, it quickly goes through everything. So you've got these long drawn out drama scenes that get a little tiresome, and then the battle scenes are epic. The battle scenes, obviously, it's augmented by some um, computer graphics, but I mean, not only are the battle scenes epic, they're brutal and bloody. You talked about that opening scene where they take over this fort, which kind of actually cements Napoleon as a brilliant leader. He figures out, like, if we could only get rid of that fort that's being occupied, we would have access to we'd have access now to this port, right? Like, the fort was guarding the port. So he goes in and you see him rear up. This happens within the first 10 minutes of the movie. Okay. He rears up on his horse. The horse gets hit by a cannonball in the chest and explodes. It just explodes in a burst of blood. It's gory. When they use cannons on people, it's not pretty. They use cannons on people and you'll see a ton of people get mowed down, and just like it's just filled with carnage. And what was interesting is the military leaders would always be in these tents, kind of they don't get their hands dirty. They direct the battle almost like a form of human chess. At least that's what I kind of felt as I'm watching it. It's like, well, we're going to do this, and we've got this army here, they're going to move in, and then this army is going to do this. It was almost like they were doing it politely and in a gentlemanly way, right? So the military leaders, like, are in effect playing a human video game or a human chess game, right? That's what it was, because you'd have like these, huge armies, and they would, oh, we're going to move this army in here, and this, it just showed what warfare was like. And I think did better than any movie I've seen. I believe the war scenes are incredible. There's this scene, and it's in the trailer, where this army is approaching them, and it looks like that they're in trouble, but they basically tricked this oncoming army into approaching them over ice, and all they do is shoot cannonballs and sink this army under the freezing water. It's
Yeah.
it's a
I mean, he's
really
portrayed as
incredible.
one of these David and Goliath types where it's small army defeats large army.
Yeah,
Right.
it's really like that stuff I loved. And then The drama, I wasn't quite sure what they were like. A lot of it is political. You know, he married Josephine, but Josephine was unable to produce an heir. And so there's all of the and then there's the thing is we were talking about this after because you and I went to the same screening. Like when you look at movies like this, like Napoleon or films, you know, like set in Roman times,
Yeah.
some people have like British accents who are not British, French. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix has no accent.
He has an American accent.
He has an American accent. Everyone else is kind of has a French accent. And then there's even they deal with one of the guy the Prussian army, the head of the Prussian army.
Yeah.
What was that character's name?
No, I mean, look, I
Alex-
don't think they had French accents. I think they all had British accents.
But it was
Which made battles between the French and the British weird
just
because they all had the same accent.
right. They have British accents. What am I saying? But it's like they do this in films about, you know, in set in Roman era, Roman or Greek.
Yeah.
They always have like British accents. And I'm like, wouldn't they have, you know, Latin accents or it's, I mean, maybe even make it Italian. I don't know. Like it's a choice you make. So Joaquin Phoenix has effectively an American accent and everyone else is kind of has a British accent. And it just,
It's like Robin Hood.
it's like just, I almost would have like, if you're going for authenticity, just have everyone speak French and have it be in subtitles. Also the film is 2.5 hours long. And it felt like if it was going to be epic, which is why I'm not surprised that there's coming to Apple TV Plus an extended version of the movie, because I did feel like, isn't there more to this? I feel like it ends abruptly, even though it's like, okay, it's building towards a long 3 hour, it's an epic. So I'm expecting it to be a little longer. And, you know, it's 2 hours and 30-ish minutes.
Yeah.
The running time of the theatrical version, but it felt like this was intended to be a much longer movie. So that's what I meant when we're getting like the cliff notes, like here it is, the greatest hits of Napoleon, all the famous battles that you've come to love and enjoy. But so I'm in two minds, like,
yeah. I mean, I will say that the love story aspect of it, I mean, I don't think it earned it. I don't think it earned the ending that it was brought to it. It just and I think a lot of that had to do with being rushed, and I also think it had to do with the fact that, you know, it's just kind of the way Joaquin portrayed Napoleon. I'm like, and I just can't imagine that Josephine would actually fall in love with him based on everything she had gone through with him.
Well, effectively, she cucks him, and effectively is what
She does that a lot throughout the movie.
She does that a lot throughout the movie, and you're like, man, I didn't realize Napoleon was, you know, kind of a pussy.
I mean, exactly. But and that again, that leads to the ultimate love story that occurs, and I'm like, I don't know that I actually buy this at that time
because she ends up
because it leans heavily into it. You know,
right?
I'm sorry to send you away, but I love you. I love you. I love you.
Yeah, exactly. So because she ends up she cheats on him when he's away in Egypt. Which I found all of that, like I was more interested in the battles and whatnot. But she's cheating on him while he's away, and he, you know, scurries back to France, and he ends up being mocked. That I thought was really interesting. How like the French media, like was like gossip about Napoleon was big in newspapers back then. It was a device, a storytelling device. It wasn't like overused, but I thought it was interesting that they were using like newspaper headlines as like a way to get that information across, not in a spinning kind of cheesy way, but like he was being mocked in newspapers across France. They were just so interested in gossip. But the thing I do admire about the film, it's the war footage. Everything involved in the war was like every time it would get to like, oh good, another battle scene, I was relieved because you know the drama scenes that were between every battle, just every single one of them dragged on too long. So I'm in two minds about this movie. I love like the epic staging of these battles, and Napoleon is a film that like so other directors have tried to make. Stanley Kubrick famously tried to make a version of Napoleon in the 1970s, which would have starred Jack Nicholson. And he had planned there's a whole like the script exists, the script that Kubrick was going to use, and he had a lot of notes. He was going to hire the Romanian army to just restage epic battles. And the authenticity of that I thought was very well done. It wasn't sugar coated like, yeah, you've got bayonets, muskets, all these guns and cannonballs. These are your weapons and they're all used and you see the results of it. So, well, I would say like if you're say in high school and you want to learn about Napoleon, this is probably a good film to see. If you're a kid wanting to learn history, this is the cliff notes that will actually make it interesting to read about Napoleon. But
and by the way, for all the people in the chat, yeah, it would be great for high school, especially an American high school.
Yeah, an American high school. Wait, do they learn history in American high school, or is
well
it
the ones that do, the ones that actually teach it? You know, if you're like my teachers, you know, we saw a lot of movies in history class.
Yeah,
and to the point, yeah, it wasn't necessarily accurate, but
yeah,
we got the point.
yeah. Also, I'll say this at the end of the day, that Star Wars girl is actually in the chat. She says, "Was it good though?" Here's the thing: the parts that I loved, I really loved. The parts that I liked or didn't like, I really didn't like. So it's a mixed review. I would say for me, like maybe a 6.5. So it's still a recommend, but on the lower end of recommend because of some of the flaws that we pointed out. It's possible that this longer version is better. That actually,
or it's longer.
I would hope.
I'll say this. I mean, if you have Ridley Scott and JOAQIN Phoenix in your movie, I expected more.
Yeah, but do you recommend?
I'm with you. It's a bare recommend. I think for American high school students, you know, it's a nice primer on Napoleon. But you know, and I'm looking at the chat, and again, you know, clearly, the chat knows more about European history than the two of us do. So,
well, that's fair. That's fair. You know, look, we were focused on. I don't know. I loved.
We were living history back when we were kids.
Right. Well, I loved learning about the American Revolution, which actually led to the French Revolution. In many ways, the American Revolution inspired the French Revolution, right? Like overthrowing monarchs. We're not going to go with the monarchy thing. Just because of your birthright doesn't mean you should be running a country. So there you go. Yeah, a mild recommendation from both Alan and I. And I will say the one thing that you really can't criticize, and the best part about the movie was the battle scenes. The battle scenes are just epic, and it, to me, worth it for the ticket price. So there you go. But let's see what you think.
We have a lot of comments.
No, we have a lot of starred comments. I'm not going to get to the 35 comments you've highlighted. Alan, come on. This is not.
Some of these are good. Just you know, you don't have to go through all of them.
We're going to start with the super chats first, and then we'll see what we have time for. And thank you, that Star Wars girl, Anna. Always good to see you. Red French
we'll see you
Moon.
next week.
Yeah, Red French Moon for €2. I just love history and Napoleon, so I'm hesitant. Well, I think that's why you have to see it. I think it's why you have to see it. Make your own judgment. Red French Moon for €20. Is it a case of never let the British tell French history? Oh, I didn't even think about that. Taking liberty for a movie is one thing, but I just listened to a show that pointed out a lot of mistakes. Are the battles good? The battles, I think, are excellent. Better than the movie Waterloo from 1970? I don't know.
Definitely a shortened version of that movie.
Yeah. It's like I say, it's the cliff notes, it's the highlights, because you don't see every battle from beginning to end. That's what did kind of bug me a little bit. It's like, and here's the highlights of the battle, and they won. And here's the highlights of the battle, they retreated. And here's the highlights of the battle. 10,000 people died. I do like that at the end, they do this thing where they kind of show you how many people died as a result.
How many Frenchmen died?
Yeah. How many? It's crazy the number of people that died fighting these wars and these battles back at that time in the late 1700s, early 1800s.
Yeah. And you do get the sense that a lot of these battles were all based on ego.
Yes,
you know,
they
like,
were.
How dare you do this to me? Let's go to battle.
But this is why I was trying to draw the comparison of it's like a human version of chess. So the way that it works is that the generals are in the tents and it's like, oh, we don't go outside. And they have like a thing that's literally like a board game where they're like, well, these people will move here and these will move here, but it's actual human beings. The good thing is they do show the cost of that. They show brutal death. So,
and to that first comment, let British tell French history. That's a trope. Anytime you tell European history in film, whoever the subject is, the Italians, the Spaniards, the French, it's all British people playing the main roles.
Yeah. Thomas
Even
Pickett,
American history, the British people are playing our main role.
Thomas Pickett for 2 says kids don't even know where France is. Well, fair point. More super chats here, and we'll get to some of your other comments. JWT6577 member for 2 months says, just got out of Napoleon. Have you talked about it yet? We're talking about it now. Thank you for that. Nicholas Vargo for 499. The Holdovers is the best film I've seen this year. What are you waiting for, Chris? See it ASAP. That's my plan. I'm probably going to go see it tomorrow. Maybe later tonight.
Oh, and see American Fiction. We have this.
Yes. No. That's also on my list. Alan, you keep saying I will watch.
Keep saying it, and you're not.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Does it come out next week, right?
So the question will be, what will get done first? Chris seeing American Fiction or me getting my link tree set up?
Alan's link tree is kind of a big deal, but yeah, The Holdovers. I was talking to someone. I've talked to a lot of people about this movie. I love the fact that like it looks like it was shot in the 70s. Even the trailer is style-wise like in 1970s trailers. And trailers in the 70s were not very sophisticated. They weren't as the marketing for movies wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. But yeah, no, Nicholas on the list.
Yeah, it looks like it was shot on film too.
Yeah. Incoherent Turd for $4.99. Unsatisfied with Napoleon. Starts great. Deficient last 2/3. Shows him capable in only 2 battles. Skips over his victories and why all were against him. Thumbs down. Yeah, I'm with you actually. Incoherent Turd. Like I still give it like that's what I'm saying. Alan, I give it a mild recommendation. We both were like, well, for the things that did work about the movie, it gets a mild recommend. The things that worked well. The things that didn't work dragged the movie down. But yeah, no, that's a fair. I think that Incoherent Turd, which if Incoherent Turd has a channel, look it up on YouTube. You can subscribe to it. Thank you for your super chat. Yeah, I still like the things that work were really amazing. Yeah. Professor Thascale says this is a terrible movie. Hey, it's
Professor Thascale has a lot to say about the historical inaccuracies of this film. So check in the chat.
Hey, it's me in HD. So would you guys recommend a watch to someone who just recently immersed himself in the history of Napoleon, if only to see where the movie went wrong? So there you go. Chili Con Karma says title should be Josephine and sometimes Napoleon. So there you go. From Rumble, Aid Ellis 24 says the fact that Ridley Scott shot a Napoleon film in 62 days while Kubrick spent a decade prepping without shooting a single frame is actually nuts. Yeah, true. Alan Horkin says Ridley Scott included elements of farce. It is amusing at times, but I think it was a mistake not to take Napoleon more seriously. It is a well-crafted epic film. Battles are bloody and horrific. I do agree. Kartak says the film is pure fiction. It didn't get a single historical fact right. Well,
Napoleon became king. Isn't that?
Yeah.
Mary Josephine. I mean, that's 2.
Yeah.
I could probably come up with a 3rd one, but I'd have to think about it.
Hey, can I ask you to filter some of these comments to really the best ones we have time to read? Because you've got too many. That Star Wars girl, I'm surprised Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor didn't do the full-on Napoleon epic lol. Yeah, that would have been cool. So French critics panned this movie. However, it did well with French audiences, says Brock Samsonite. And Striker A is coming in hot with a very generous super chat of $20. Says, have you seen Waterloo? Great Napoleon movie, but this seemed mostly based off of the English propaganda with lots of liberties taken with events. I think it's a poor Napoleon movie, but a good for a movie about their relationship with Josephine. I'm assuming relationship with yeah.
Well, nothing was right in it. So
Epic Mike says, what up, y'all? French in subtitles would be based AF. It would seem to be more authentic. It would like feel like the era. And I do think that like Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, you know, his relationship with Josephine, I'm sure is fairly accurate because it's based on letters that they sent to each other. And a lot of those letters became public in the media at the time. So, yeah, I think French and subtitles would just seem he's French, right? All right, I'll get to the rest of these chat comments and questions. We had some really good ones. Thanks, Epic Mike. Good to hear from you. Hit me up. Zodlander for 20 Swedish krona. Movie makers need to prep more. Will Disney learn? I don't know. I think that back to our discussion of Wish and how it's effectively failed. I think that there is a profound problem with leadership at Disney, that when it comes to the activist culture that Disney has not just cultivated, it supports it. I don't see them making any changes whatsoever. I think Disney as a company is lost. The only way would be for it to contract, meaning that all of the financial losses result in many layoffs, and then you maybe bring back some of the more experienced animators who know story, who know history. So I'm going to have something about that coming up. Best Napoleon movie, Bill and Ted. It's so funny how Napoleon like comes up in like other things like that, like a Bill and Ted movie. Thank you, Jay, for 2. Appreciate that. Comment here from 99 Iron Duke. From a military historian's point of view, Napoleon is utterly rubbish and inaccurate film. Really awful. Well,
so the historians don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't say that I'm a historian. I only know what I learned in school about Napoleon, and Napoleon has kind of been this weird figure that turns up as like, it's like a shorthand, like, oh, everybody knows who Napoleon is. That's why you see Napoleon turning up in Bill and Ted. Now I'm curious how accurate Bill and Ted's portrayal of Napoleon is.
Like him bowling. His bowling ability.
I don't. Napoleon could have bowled. Napoleon. I've just said Napoleon. This is folks. I'm still not awake even after a cup and a half of coffee. Thank you for your comment, Iron 99 Iron Duke. Red French Moon for €2. Also, I love Film Threat. 100. You two are great. Thank you, Red French Moon. Appreciate you and appreciate your wise remarks. More comments here. Jeff W. says, this is a great example of everything wrong with historical movies. None of it is accurate. It's the last thing you'd show to a student. Well, here's what I would do. I would show it to a student as a way to get them interested in learning the reality, because that's not a bad thing. Even though the film, yes, it's inaccurate, but the sweeping epic nature, the brutal battles. Okay, now learn the real history. Now that you've seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, now learn about, isn't that a real movie, right?
Yes.
Years ago.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, did I get the title right? I saw that movie back when it came out, like 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. That one's not accurate. Abraham Lincoln did not fight vampires. But if it gets a kid interested in wanting to learn the reality, that's That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. But and that also, it can make a student capable of doing that thing that you always hear. Well, actually, when someone uses the word actually, well, actually, what really happened was
Mhm.
that's good. So yeah, Jeff, well, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not if it's not accurate, fine. But if it gets students interested in learning the reality, that's a positive, net
Yeah.
positive.
And let's face facts. The percentage of historical movies that get it right is very small.
Yeah, most of them don't. For that, go to a documentary.
Yeah. I mean, I love Patton. I'm pretty sure Patton didn't get everything right.
Yeah, go to a Ken Burns documentary. Brock Samsonite says, was responding to somebody in the chat and says, the focus needs to be more on Napoleon. Josephine was just the wife who constantly cucked him and made him want to conquer the world to win her heart and prove what a man he was. Yeah, fair. Goober says, Napoleon is one of the best films of the year. Great cinematography with natural lighting, very subtle CG, a good theatrical cut which doesn't overstay its welcome. Loved the sense of humor. Yeah, I think that, look, I can't say there aren't moments where I really enjoyed the film, but looking at it overall, I'd say it gets a mild recommendation for me. But Goober, who's also a member, I thank you for your commentary. It's great. Joseph's Dots for 999. Would the historians liken this movie to The Woman King as far as historical inaccuracies? Embrace debate. Mucho lovo, gentlemen. Well, yeah, The Woman King was also another one. I mean, while it does mention that a lot of the slave trade were from Native Africans themselves, were the ones selling the slaves,
Yeah.
right? Like they would
Yeah.
conquer.
Well, I mean, the Woman King was written to be an action movie.
Yeah, it's an action movie based very loosely on history, but it does actually discuss the idea that they would conquer a tribe, take that tribe, and just sell them off. So that's a
Yeah.
part of it, but it's very much it is very much downplayed in that film. It's that movie's intended to be an action movie, and
Yeah.
also that movie did not do very well at the box office. I mean, you have to say it's a failure.
Yeah.
At the
Well, I'm
box.
clearly in the case of The Woman King, the filmmakers saw a paragraph about the story, and then that inspired an entire 2-hour movie.
A paragraph of real history is the thing that inspired the movie. But thank you, Joseph Stotts. Appreciate that. Creative 24 for 20 says a younger Ridley Scott would have gone the extra mile on all fronts. I was more impressed by older films that depict Napoleon. The film felt lazy, but I recognize that Apple is saving the best for their platform. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I walked out of the movie, and while I was, dissatisfied but entertained, especially the battles are great. The battles I thought were very well done. I would watch it again. I would, on Apple TV Plus, I would watch that version, the longer version. I think I'd like to see, is that what you'll
I was
laugh.
gonna say, being on Apple Plus or Apple TV, it'll allow you to take breaks, take a lot of breaks.
Yeah,
See it
you
in chunks.
pause. You can pause during the 4.5-hour version. Is it 4.5 hours, the other version?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. But thank you, Creative 24. That's very generous. And, I will do this. I have subscribed to platforms just to watch one thing, and then I actually put a reminder in my phone to cancel whatever that subscription is. Apple makes it pretty easy. You can do it like on your phone. You can cancel and you still get it until the end of the month. But yeah, that's something.
And it's cheaper than a movie ticket.
It's cheaper than a movie ticket to subscribe to a streaming service for 1 month to watch one thing. So there you go. And then, I think we got that one from Sandhya Kumari for 40 of something. Says, Chris, please do watch Animal on the 1st of December.
Keep confusing that with Monster, which is also coming out next month.
True. All right. We're going to pivot for a second. We're going to pivot quickly and talk about, I'm going to do a little, I might have to do a rant here. So,
Yeah, the banner I could play.
No, don't put it up yet. I have to find the. Alan and I are slow today, and by Alan, when I say Alan and I are slow, I'm slow. I'm slow, but not too slow for a rant. A freaking IKEA chair. Here we go, folks. It's the tweet heard round the world. All I said was, turning Marvel and Star Wars into girl brands will prove to be one of the costliest decisions in entertainment history. There's no doubt, and it cannot be argued, that Marvel and Star Wars under Disney's ownership have pivoted into girl brands. And this is just the beginning. More is coming. And what I have seen is when people discuss the Marvels on social media, they seem to all be, without mentioning me, reacting to the conversation that I started, which is simply, I thought I was just pointing out a very simple fact. Let's talk about the movie Barbie. The movie Barbie specifically targeted women who love Barbie. And, you know, there are more than likely men, well, male presenting people who also love Barbie. And that's totally fine. Look up male Barbie collector. There are those, they exist. And you know what? Nothing wrong with that. If you're going to make a Barbie movie, go full Barbie. But if you're going to make a Star Wars movie, you probably want to lean into the audience that loves it, the audience that loves Star Wars, the audience that loves Marvel. And I've said it before, and I will continue to repeat, the reason there are so many female fans of Marvel is because of the strong male leads. When Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Captain America, emerged from the capsule and turned into this perfect figure of a man, he got the Marvel bod. I mean, the characters even in the scene are like making an expression of, oh my. The reason there are so many female fans of Marvel is, I believe, because of strong men. I suggest that you check out a video that's on the Film Threat YouTube channel. It's called Marvel's Topless Avengers. We did a supercut on just look up Topless or Marvel Avengers on the Film Threat YouTube channel. We'll put the link in the description for this video. And it's just a montage, a supercut of all the scenes where male characters take their shirts off. Beefcake. Women, look, there's a reason Chippendales is a brand. And Marvel may as well be Chippendales with superhero costumes on. It may as well be that. But Disney owns some other brands. And guess what? This is only a prediction. Here's what's coming. Here's what's coming.
So cute.
We're going to see horror beyond imagination. It's going to be Disney's Alien. This is coming. You've already got, the creatures in the Alien franchise are already female led. There is the Alien Queen, served by the sentries, the soldiers, as we saw in Aliens, the sequel to Alien. And I predict the next franchise that's going to get the girl treatment from Disney is going to be Alien. I don't see any way that they get around it. This is coming. You heard it here first. It's my prediction. And Alan, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yes. Soon before you know it, they're gonna take Alien and put a female lead in it.
That's exactly. We're going to see an Alien movie with a female lead. Just watch. It's going to happen.
What is this world coming to? It just okay. What did Marvel in the early days? What did George Lucas do in the early days? Change in their story to attract women. You know, if the female segment of the market is as large as people say it was, you know, what did these creators in the 70s and 80s and 90s do to attract female audiences? And I think the point I'm making here is that they didn't do anything. They just told their story. And it appealed, yeah, mostly to men, but it also appealed to a lot of women. And for some
Well,
reason, we have to now we have to change course to apparently appeal to a broader audience,
well,
rather than just make money and tell the stories you've been telling all along. And that's my frustration with all.
here is a shocking confession from Anna, that Star Wars girl. My uterus loved that scene. I'd say every woman, the reason there are female Marvel fans is because of the strong men. It also doesn't mean you can't have strong female characters also. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow was great.
Mhm.
You know, there were other strong characters, but like you want strong men. Women are attracted to that. Okay? And that Star Wars girl being very vulnerable in her confession that her uterus loved that scene. Not just her uterus was involved. Thank you, Anna. For that.
Let me say this about what you said. You know, you basically said that Disney has put time and energy and resources into turning Marvel and Star Wars into girl brands. And with the release of Wish, it's clearly seen that Disney has neglected their girl brand. And so they're losing on both fronts now.
Yeah, they're losing. They've feminized the boy brands that they own, and then they've gentrified the other brands. I mean, like the one thing that was pointed out that you pointed out in your discussion of Wish, which is a film I have not seen. The lead character is not a princess.
Nope, she's not.
She is not. There's not.
She cannot technically be called a Disney princess.
And I got a weird email blast from Disney about Wish, and they had someone in a cosplay of like an actual person, not an animated, in as a cosplay, a live action cosplay of the character from Wish. And let me just say, if that lead character dressed like that was walking around Disneyland, no one would know who it was. Whereas like when you see like Snow White or you see Cinderella, you know that that's a Disney princess. This girl is going to be walking around and you're going to ask her where the bathroom is because she doesn't even look like. I'm serious. I wish I could find. Can you look it up? Find the live action picture of.
Was it a press release?
It was not a press release. It was literally like, I'm on a bunch of email lists and I got it. I just couldn't believe it. But I thought it looked really bad. It just looked bad. So. So yeah, it just didn't look like a Disney. It didn't look like a princess. Like, why would you want to even dress like this? So I don't know. I just thought it was really weak. So I mean, I see it, but it looks.
And here's the best I could find.
Okay, if you could share that, Alan. Yeah, like who does this? If you saw that person walking around Disneyland, what would you think?
Oops. I'd say that's Simba.
Yeah, I'd say, is that the director of Wish?
Yeah, both the co-directors of Wish.
The co-directors of Wish. Well, so that is the costume in live action. That's what it looks like. Yeah, not impressed. Not impressed. So I don't know. You can be angry at what I've said. You can be angry at what I've pointed out. I actually think it's just a factual statement. I think it's a completely factual statement, and you can be angry, but the box office is the thing that is the proof. When you look at the box office for the Marvels, look at the box office a Wish. It just I feel like it's an indisputable fact that you're gonna have to deal with. A freaking IKEA chair. Let's go to your chat comments and questions, and we have time for maybe a couple more film reviews here. We'll get into it. Jackson Cagle for 10. Go, Frank. Alan, love my film threat. Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
Thank you for the 10. Appreciate that. Remember to go to shop.filmthreat.com and pick up Disney, Film Threat -ho. I said Disney. Film Threat -ho. Use the offer code. Save a little cash. Incoherent turd for $4.99. In the Disney Aliens, the women alien who kills because she is a victim of the patriarchy, so it's okay. There you go. A very generous super chat from Darth Racer 777 for 20. Have you guys seen the 1954 film The Adventures of Haji Baba, starring John Derek and sexy Elaine Stewart? Many strong females in the film that supposedly didn't happen back then, according to the woke mob. Interesting. I have not seen that film, but I like if you want a movie with strong women that I think is a very good film, Faster Pussycat Kill. That one is great. Tura Satana, love me some Tura Satana. She's fantastic. The movie had diversity, it had strong women, and it had something that Alan, I think, just likes. He likes a lot, actually. Trying to find the.
I know. Yeah.
I don't think I have
the
it.
setup timing is flawless here.
69.
Well, there you go.
Maybe it's in the other one. Maybe it's in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's something else. But yeah, I haven't seen that film, but it sounds interesting. Probably something you could probably find on Tubi at some point. Thank you. Contrarian 420 for 2. Mike's 13 Assassins review when? Not today, but soon. Yeah. Sometime. But thank you for that. I love Takashi Miike.
I'm sure there'll come a point where we're less busy.
Yeah. This is not the time of year. Like Alan and I are seeing so many movies. We were talking the other day, and it's just like, I'm kind of tired I love going to the movies, and I have gone to the movies every night this week, except for yesterday, except for Thanksgiving.
I mean, I've made it a goal not to go to Hollywood this weekend.
Well, good luck on your goal.
Yeah, good luck.
Black Jesus became a YouTube member.
Hey,
Black Jesus. And JTP RX, who's a member, J-Law taught Sigourney Weaver how to be a strong female character. Sigourney credited Jennifer Lawrence in her own biography. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. There you go. We have a lot more films to review. Let's see what we'll be able to get to. But some of these we're going to have to push to next week. Wednesday may just end up being a review day. But here's something that I can review kind of quick. We've both seen Nyad.
Yes, we have.
Let's talk about Nyad. Give me a second here. Oh, did you? Okay, Alan.
Yeah,
I got it. Great. Okay. Let's talk about Nyad, which is currently on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Yes. So, currently on Netflix, the film stars Annette Bening as based on a real person, Diana Nyad, who was a woman that was, challenged herself with swimming from Cuba to Florida, which is a couple hundred, like 180 miles or something?
I believe it's like around 120.
120. Jodie Foster plays Bonnie Stoll, which is kind of her coach and friend. It's implied that there might be a relationship, or that they were friends. They were maybe going to be in a relationship, but they really are just good friends.
It's kind of like Ms. Marvel and Valkyrie.
Yeah, and Diana Nyad, I guess, is a lesbian. But the great thing about this movie, that's not what the movie's about. It has nothing to do with her being a lesbian. She just happens to be a lesbian, and who cares? But at the age of 60, Diana Nyad decided, I am going to accomplish this, because she failed many times to do this. A lot of it is the drift. A lot of it is just the physical endurance of
sharks.
There were sharks. jellyfish. You have to be protected. So there's a boat that has like a line that you're following, and it has to stay on course. You can get she would get delirious at times in the water because it's such a physically challenging thing to do. It's based on a true story, and I'll just say I really love this film. I was surprised how much I enjoy. I like generally I like sports films in general. I love sports movies because you either win or lose in the end, or sometimes you lose but you win something else like respect. I've always loved sports films, and in particular, sports films based on true stories. I was only just sort of casually aware of this. I mean, I know that people have attempted to do, and she's not the Diana Nyad is not the first person or the person to attempt to do this. Other people have attempted and failed to do this. But the fact that this is something she attempted at the age of 60 years old, 60 is incredible. I really love, and also I've always been a fan of Jodie Foster. What I love about Jodie Foster, just in her career, she has never taken easy roles. She is one of the rare actors working in the industry who understands the craft of filmmaking, who cares about the audience, and there's nothing particularly preachy in this. It's a sports movie. It's a sports movie about a woman late in life who decided, I am going to challenge myself. I know I can do it. I believe in myself. And she's surrounded by a whole support system of people just trying to help her achieve that goal. Reese Ifans plays the guy who's the captain of the ship, John Bartlett, who has to kind of be convinced to do this, to do this, because he basically is saying this is impossible. I mean, she's 64 years old. And even though she's in great shape, just the physical endurance to do this is remarkable. And they really go through all the challenges. Uh, and there is they do this thing, and this is a typical thing. And sometimes it's almost like expected or gets tired. They kind of mix real footage with the actors and whatnot. I loved it actually with this, and I watch a completely separate documentary about this achievement. It's really incredible. Strongly recommend Nyad. It's a great sports movie and an inspiration. Alan, what did you think of Nyad?
Yeah, absolutely. This one caught me off guard because
Same.
I was invited to a screening, and Ned Benning was going to be there, and I go, well, I'll just take my kid, and maybe we'll get something out of it. And by the end of it, it was just blown away.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the the one thing I appreciate the most about this is there's definitely a character arc with Diana Nyad, because she is throughout the entire movie, she's this grade A narcissist.
Right.
And she's just this is about her dream, and the 30 people who go on this trip, their sole purpose is to make sure that she fulfills her dream. Her best friend Bonnie there,
Right.
it's like, there's nothing more important in Bonnie's life than to make sure that I fulfill my dream. And this is the theme that runs throughout the entire film. And so there's a real character arc. And the cool thing is, we knew Annette Bening was going to be up there. We didn't realize that Dinah Nyad was going to be there too, and
She
and
was
Bonnie
there.
as well. Yeah,
Wow.
both of them. And Bonnie was just busting her balls about, because they said, like, everyone told the director not to let Dinah Nyad ever visit the set, and because she'll
Why?
take over. She'll take over, and so she appeared like on the final days of shooting. This is like you said. I think what makes this movie so great is it is a true sports movie. Just a person overcoming a person reaching for an impossible goal and finding it within themselves to get it, and finding the team, quite frankly, to make that happen. Annette Bening is amazing in this. I don't know if you knew this, but there was no stunt double. That was Annette Bening the entire time in the movie.
No, this is very clear. And I'll say this, and I want to apologize. We had a spelling error that I noticed. I corrected it. So that is the correct spelling of Nyad. It's Nyad, not Nyaad. So there you go. But
Oh,
in
you're
any
gonna say-
case, no,
Yeah.
just I corrected. Anyways,
Oh, okay.
but I just want to say Annette Bening, as an actress at this age, if she's not nominated for Best Actress, it's criminal.
Yeah.
Because she puts herself so vulnerable. I mean, you see her like half naked in a bunch of stuff. She has a 60-year-old woman's body, or in her 60s. I don't know how old Annette Bening is, but she is like, she wears this thing on her face. She's always putting like this stuff on her face because you're in the water for that long. So she has this gel. Then she has to wear this horrible mask to protect herself from a jellyfish because she's been stung by jellyfish so much. If she gets stung by a jellyfish again, like that poison's in your body, you can die. So she's putting her life at risk even by making this attempt. It's really just like it's a Netflix. This is the movie that families should have watched on Thanksgiving, if you ask me. Like, it's inspiring, it's incredible achievement. By the end, you're just on the edge of your seat with the end. Like, is she gonna make it? How horrified. And they have all these rules of like, if you actually do it, right? Like, I don't want to say anything, but like, there are certain rules you need to follow to be able to have accomplished this task. And these rules have to be followed to the letter. So
well, I mean, the important thing is the big rule is she cannot touch the boat and she cannot touch another person.
Right. She can't touch another person, can't touch the boat. Those are the two big rules. And if she does, disqualified. And you see her, oh my God, it's just.
Yeah. And I think it was 120 miles she actually swam, and it took her 2 days to do it. And
yeah,
and every other attempt, she barely made it past the first day.
Yeah, and it's just, it's the kind of movie where I'm watching this movie and I got so sucked into it. And it was one of those things of like, oh, they don't even make movies like this anymore. It's hopeful, it's optimistic, it's inspiring, it's funny at times because there's a lot of conflict with the characters. And Jodie Foster, I've just always loved Jodie Foster. I had a crush on her as a kid. What can I say? Just had a crush on her. And because she doesn't take typical roles. So, and she's like one of those actors who's also a filmmaker. She has a filmmaker brain, functions like a filmmaker. She thinks about the audience. This is like a movie that could have been made 10 years ago. That's what I mean by that. There's no sort of agenda being served here. It's a dramatization of a true story, and it's absolutely incredible and a strong recommendation. I'm actually seeing it as like a 90. I don't know what the Rotten Tomatoes is, but on Google, 91% is the score.
Yeah. By the way, my daughter has already rewatched this movie twice.
So you went to a screening watched it again on Netflix.
I didn't watch it. She did. I mean, look, I bring her up a lot because, she's getting experiences through me that she would not normally get, and a lot of it surrounding film. And to be able to take her to a movie like this and kind of see her, find the films that just inspires her and then falls in love with, and then to see that play out is what every parent can wish for.
Hi, Dad, I miss you.
Actually, you're taking your daughter to dim sum next week.
Yep, that's right.
There you go. Let's go to some comments and questions here from our chat. The Haji Baba film is on YouTube, says Darth Racer 777 for 5. I posted the link in the chat. I will post the link in the description for this episode. I already added it to my history, and thank you for the recommendation. Harry Anders for 200 Swedish krona. That is huge. I don't even know what 200 of that is, but I'm going to guess it's
like $1 million.
It's like $1 million US, which are, not worth that much these days. It's Friday. It's Thanksgiving. It's Chris sticking it to Marvel, and it burns. Believe me, Chris, they are fuming over there. And Alan, the fact that you mentioned Patton as one of your faves makes me love this channel even more. Yes, Alan and I have seen movies that are older than 5 years.
That are older than us.
They're older than us.
I don't know. When did Patton come out? Maybe I'm lying about it.
It was the 70s, actually.
Okay, but barely.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching movies since I was a kid.
I read your book.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, no, we've I think collectively Alan and I have seen a lot of movies and a lot of older films as well. So you can draw on that knowledge. Thank you, Harry Anders. Very generous. Zodlander, who's a member, I like to hear this. Life doesn't end until the heart stops. Good. And Jodie Foster is a great actor. See the movie. See the movie. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
I literally sat down.
I had no hope for this movie
I
going
was
in.
just like, I don't know. I'll just watch it. And then I couldn't believe it how pumped I was.
Yeah. Well, just it's shot in the water. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a feat unto itself. And
Yeah.
to make it this exciting is, it's a testament to this film.
Potato Radio for 10 says Barbara Stanwyck thanks Jennifer Lawrence for inspiring her badass in Double Indemnity, making Disney dad Fred McMurray into a murderer, and Kirk Douglas her bitch in The Strange Love of Martha Ivers.
Yeah.
There you are.
By the way, No Hard Feelings is on Netflix.
Yeah, there you go. Alistair Campbell says 200 Swedish krona is about $20. Hey, that's generous.
Yeah.
Davina Duckworth, her crossing from Cuba to Florida was denied ratification due to incomplete documentation, conflicting crew reports, and rules from an organization that did not exist at the time of the swim. Well, if you ask me, that's BS. But it's interesting because they mix like real footage and you see her appearing on talk shows like from the era, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
Talk shows that I remember watching as a kid, like Merv Griffin. Was it Merv Griffin? I don't remember, but something like that.
Well, this sounds like the patriarchy talking. So I'm going to give it. She did it. She did it. That's all that counts.
Yeah, that's lame. But yeah, like didn't exist at the time. Like, come on. Thank you, Davina Duckworth. Always love your insightful commentary. Alistair Campbell, Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster in Maverick are excellent. Yeah, they are.
And Jodie Foster gave Mel Gibson his first shot back after all.
Yeah, and they did another movie together where he has a hand puppet, like something. It's something the Beaver.
Yeah,
I think it's just called. Is it called Beaver?
It's either Beaver or the Beaver.
Alan, what do you think about beavers?
What do I think about beavers? Little cute little furry animals.
That's getting clipped.
What do you want me to say?
I was just trying to.
You want something clippable? I know that. So.
I was just trying to bait you into saying.
I know.
I just wanted to bait you. But yeah, no, they're but I just think that here's what I'll say. If Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster are friends, you know what that tells me? Jodie Foster, based AF. Just a thought. Just a thought. I've never met her, but she just seems like she would be cool. She'd be chill. Crazy Cat says dollars to donuts. This movie is more historically accurate than Napoleon. Well, there's footage. There's footage of the actual person, Diane Nyad, in there. So there you go. Look, I didn't expect to like this film as much as I did, and was really surprised.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we're gonna do another quick review here of a film that I saw.
I've seen it as well.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Back Fantastic Fest.
Oh, wow, man.
Not as good as Nyad.
It's not as good as Nyad, but I want to get set for this. I got to get set. But I'll say this. Okay. I have too many tabs open.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for helping, Alan.
Oh my God.
There's Something in the Barn is a horror holiday movie. This seems to be a new genre, and I am all for it. I am loving it. We have collectively received so many at Film Threat horror films set at Christmas. It's like a genre unto itself. Silent Night is coming out soon, which looks very good, from John Woo. And there are just,
A Creature is Stirring.
A Creature is Stirring is one. It's a Wonderful Knife. The Christmas horror movie genre, it's becoming a thing. This film is very simple, and I'll say this. It's kind of almost a parody of a Hallmark movie. It stars Martin Starr and I'm not sure if I get her name right. An actress whose name I can't pronounce. Amrita Acharya. Is that it? In any case, they are a family that has moved to, where are they living? Is it Sweden or they're in Norway? That's it. They're in Norway. So they're celebrating Christmas at this house that they've rented. They're in Norway. And are they rented, or is it like an old family house? I forget that part.
They bought it. It's an old family house. It's a
Old family house.
farm home.
But it has a
They want
barn.
to turn the barn into a Airbnb.
It's a mixed family because he has kids from a previous marriage. This is the second marriage. So there's a little conflict with the kids and the new mom, so to speak. But this family is going to celebrate the holidays in Norway at this house. And the young son in the family discovers that there's something in the barn. But what I really love about the film is it's like if Hallmark went full horror and gore, that's what this is. Because it starts out like this Hallmark movie. They're trying to make friends with the neighbors. They have a holiday party, but there's something in the barn. And what is in the barn? A little elf-like gnome that has murderous tendencies. And these gnomes are like this big. They're these tiny little gnomes. And then it ends up being this whole family versus these gnomes that want to murder them. People are killed. There's dealings with the local police. Nobody has a simple gun. And it gets to ridiculous extremes by the end with this entire family trying to fight off these gnomes. What I loved about the film is that it's making fun of Hallmark movies is what this movie does. And also, I've always loved Martin Starr, but for the most part, Martin Starr has been relegated to roles that are like he's a side character in a movie, or he pops up in a bit part, or he's got like one scene where he's in a film. Martin Starr is the lead in the film, which is great, along with the actor who plays his son. And I just look, very entertaining. You could also trick your family. I think one of the fun things about this movie is that because it starts out like a Hallmark movie, you could watch the movie and think, oh, this is just a Hallmark movie. But like 20 minutes in, it takes a dark turn and it's a lot of fun. Is it the greatest horror movie in the world? No. Is it as good as Thanksgiving? Not as funny, but I enjoyed it. I'd say like a 6 out of 10 if forced to give, assign a number to it, but I had a very good time. And the fact that it really leans into all the Hallmark tropes that are so cheesy and annoying and cliche, I really love that aspect. Alan, what did you think of There's Something in the Barn?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Good night. I mean, it's just a lot of silliness going on. The
Right.
horror is very silly horror. It kind of harkens back to Gremlins, where there's certain rules that you have to follow with they're barn elves basically.
Right.
And certain rules. The biggest one is you have to protect the barn. And when they
Right.
decide that they're going to turn the barn into an Airbnb, then all rules are off here. And it kind of has that Gremlins ending in the sense of, maybe one of the elves actually likes them. And so it's sorry, I'm not as excited about it as you. Just because
Fair.
I think it does lean more on the silliness end of it. And as much as I like comedy, I'm not much into just silliness.
Right.
There's got to be some real heart behind it. And this is I think the thing that I walked away from this movie was this is probably a good horror primer for children. This is probably the one you want to show kids to kind of get it. If you want to turn your kid into a horror fan, this is probably a good film to start with.
Yeah, it's not like the violence is kind of shocking in some parts, but it's not
Mhm.
super over the top like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving
I think
over
a
the
lot of times we overprotect children when it comes to horror and scary things in films. And I think they can take it more than we think they can.
Well, there you go. All right, let's go to your quick comments and questions, and I'm going to talk about a couple more films before we wrap up the stream today, but it's going to be worth sticking around. Mike MC Wong says, I have met Jodie Foster. She is very nice and actually acknowledged mere mortals like me when I held the door open for her. Oh, that's great. That's great. It's great to hear. Theodon, King of Brohan. just became a YouTube member. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. One Punch Man Tolkien fan. Is Andre from Midnight's Edge in the movie? He plays one of the elves. He actually plays one of the elves, and he's very good. Andre is fantastic in it.
Looks just like him.
Yeah, it looks just like him. Stian Hegheim. As an 86 model, I grew up with so much of the good stuff, and the references you talking about here, really appreciate you guys. Hail Chris Gore and Alan Ing, aka Ing the Merciless. $8.24. Alan Ing says, take your toddlers to see Saw.
Yes, that's what I said.
Hey, and Stian Hegheim has just become a YouTube member. Thank you. Brock Samsonite, but I was going to start my kid on Terrifier, Alan. No, do not do that. Yeah. Terrifier just takes it a bit too far.
I can't even do Terrifier.
Yeah, Terrifier is like rough for me. So what does that tell you? That tells you a lot. So we're just gonna do two very quick reviews.
Just to clear the plate there.
Just to clear the palate. We're gonna clear the palate here. And we're gonna do this real quick. Alan, if you could bring up the banner. Thank you.
I think that's the one.
That's the one. The Stones and Brian Jones is an hour and 33-minute documentary about Brian Jones. If you're a Rolling Stone fan, you probably know who Brian Jones is. He was integral to the success of the Rolling Stones early in their career. He died tragically, and this film is effectively a tribute to Brian Jones and his contribution to the Rolling Stones. I personally love music documentaries, and this one does a really good job of parts of history of the Rolling Stones that I was unaware. Brian Jones was the person who read and responded to a lot of the mail that the Rolling Stones received at the time. He was the leader of the band until he spiraled into, of course, this happens, alcohol and drug use. You hear about that. You also hear interviews with members of his family and how seriously he took it. I don't think the Rolling Stones would be where they are today if not for Brian Jones' contribution. If you are a music fan or a fan of the Rolling Stones, I recommend this movie. Most of it is created with archival footage, which I actually prefer that as a style. I think sometimes when you show a lot of modern interviews with people or more recent interviews, I actually think it's almost better because you're interviewing people, you don't know who they are and they're not famous, right? But they have something to say. I've always preferred a documentary that just show me footage of the Stones. You know, let's see them perform. Let's see footage you've never seen before, and the movie delivers on that. So I recommend the Stones and Brian Jones. Alan, are you a Rolling Stone fan?
Yeah, more Beatles though. But I will say also on Amazon Prime, Hot Potatoes, The Wiggles story is now available, and you can watch it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so you can watch it in conjunction with the Stones and Brian Jones.
Oh, wow. Okay. There you go. And all right. So there you go. I don't know if we have any comments about it. I just wanted to get a quick review in because I enjoyed it. AJ Matheson for 5 says, I always recommend the Finnish film Rare Exports for fun holiday horror. So, yeah. And oh, wow. Solomon Thornton points out Brian Jones is a part of the infamous 27 Club. What is that? Says Solomon Thornton. That's people who died at the age of 27. Kurt Cobain died at the age of 27. It's like this unlucky number that a lot of people who became famous early in life. Is Jimi Hendrix part of the 27 Club? I think so. It's people who tragically died at a young age at the height of their career. And Brian Jones is one of those people. Tragic. It amazes me the Stones are still going hard, says Pyrene Dream. Yeah. And wait, we're not quite there.
Yeah, I think they're still on their 10-year retirement tour.
Yeah. Whenever they do, look, I saw a a farewell tour of The Who in the 80s at the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, Michigan. Well, it's actually in Pontiac, Michigan. But the Pontiac Silverdome, I saw Iggy Pop there, and I saw The Who. I love The Who. It was kind of crazy. But yeah. That was at the time of like, it was, you just showed up. You bought your ticket. I had a blast.
And it wasn't these productions, these staged computerized productions. Just
It was
guys playing instruments and moving around.
I think in a way, a lot of it is just kind of false. A lot of modern concerts, those when you get to like a Taylor Swift concert and she basically looks like an ant from where you're sitting, but you're watching it on a TV screen, you might as well just go see the movie. So, all right, we're going to pivot and talk about another film, another brief documentary film.
See, this is why it's like,
what?
You asked me to hit these buttons and then you hit them too.
Yeah. Hit the button, Alan.
But then you hit it. Okay.
The Disappearance of Shere Hite is a 2-hour-long documentary about Shere Hite. She is a woman who was very open and very in tune with her sexuality. And she created in the 1970s a report called the Hite Report. That's HITE, the Hite Report, named after herself. And it sold millions of copies. It has become one of the best-selling books of all time. And all she did was, Shere Hite put out a questionnaire. And this is at the time, like this is like the early 70s, put out this questionnaire to women, like physical questionnaire that they had to write out and fill out and then mail in, or she collected them live. And she collected this data about how women felt about sex. I feel like we almost know, or at least if you're mildly curious, you can go on your own journey and learn a lot about sex and sexuality and whatnot. But at the time that this book came out, it was not a topic of conversation that was very public. And I'll say, for a documentary that's 2 hours, this film does an incredible job of not just defining who Shere Hite was, but how significant this book was. And then the reaction to the report. She ended up becoming this huge media figure, and she was treated incredibly poorly at the time because she was just pointing out a lot of things that we take for granted today, like, women enjoy sex. And sometimes sex can be dissatisfying, and maybe certain conversations should be had. And I'm not gonna go deep into it. I'll just say that I was blown away by the doc. It's also another archival doc, which archival docs, when done well, are fascinating. And it talks about how she kind of just, after the media the media really went after her, she just said, you know what, peace out, I'm done. But we would not be having the conversations today that we're just able to openly have if not for this book. It was a revolution at the time, and even her method for collecting the data. And it was just women telling their stories through this simple questionnaire about how they felt about sex. And it was a non-judgmental, like, well, tell me, like, she asked just very basic questions about things like the female orgasm and whatnot. I just found this archival doc incredibly fascinating, and you're going to get a strong recommendation from me. I was surprised how riveting this documentary was, even at the 2-hour running time. I thought really, really well done, and bravo to the director, Nicole Newnham. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. This movie's out from IFC Films. It has gotten a limited theatrical release, and my assumption is, like all the IFC films, will come soon to VOD. So I recommend this movie. Alan, did you see The Disappearance?
I didn't see it, but I do now. I mean, you're telling me that she was attacked for stating facts.
Well, she was attacked for basically, like, it was weird because they show this basically what happens is a lot of men kind of push back against the report, and she was just treated very poorly by the media, and where they would
She was
get
telling
her,
the truth, and they didn't like what the
well,
truth had to
they
say.
would put her in these gotcha situations, and they show footage of her just walking off an interview. I mean, she was just saying, hey, if men and women talk to each other about sex, maybe they can improve their relationship. And a lot of people took it the wrong way.
Yeah. Well,
But
thankfully, times have changed and things have improved.
and gotten worse for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think male-female relationships are worse for different reasons, having nothing to do with this the Hite report. But it was just like, hey, I'm just going to publish this data. This is all the book that she did. The first book is like the Hite report is like a compilation of all the data and stories she had women tell her through this questionnaire, and it like she was surprised by it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think my point is that, you know, if someone makes a provocative statement, at least consider it, at least critically analyze it, whether you agree with it or not. But we can have a conversation about these things. You know, we could probably learn something about ourselves. We could probably learn something that makes the world a better place. And realize that you may not agree with 100% of it, but there's certainly common ground we can all have. And I think that's what we're finding here, is that she was just saying what women were thinking.
But she was, just to be clear, she was an old school feminist, right? She was
Yeah.
definitely a feminist, but old school feminist because she loved men. And I feel like current day feminism has pivoted towards men are evil and they are the reason for everything wrong in the world. That's not helpful. But she is an old school feminist, a very liberated woman, and that was radical at the time. And her book, I believe her book was a force for good in the end. And the movie lays that out. And a lot of it, the movie is her in her own words or her interviews. So yeah, really, really one of the best documentaries I've seen this year about a difficult topic, sex. I'm looking for just the right clip of Alan to punctuate that.
I know.
So
We'll just wait. That clip has to be there.
No, I don't. Yeah, no,
It's probably in the I think it's
69.
All right. Hey, let's go to your comments and questions here. Ryan Landis said, someone gave me an old magazine from 1979 and the Stones were in it. The article was about how old they're getting. Oh my God, think about that. And now it's
40 years later.
40 plus years later. Wow. Melone Tankberry says, without her, we wouldn't know about Star Wars Girl's uterus.
Yes.
So there you go. And Mike MC Wong points out that this documentary is showing at the AMC Burbank 16. So yeah, definitely recommend seeing it. And Mike goes on to say the constant reminder from the feminists and the criticisms of the Republicans got too much for me. And yes, the Talking Heads interviewed has a lot of current day feminists. So yeah, I'll just say this. I think the movie handles the subject matter very well. Very well. Well, that about wraps it up for us today on a holiday edition of Hollywood. Excuse me. This isn't Hollywood. This isn't Hollywood on the Rocks, folks. This is the Film Threat Livecast on a Friday. And I am still in Thanksgiving turkey mode for some reason.
You're high on tryptophan.
Alan, what are you up to this weekend? You going to go to any Black Friday sales?
No, but I will be at the National Comedy Theater tomorrow at 7:30 in San Diego. So if you want some family-friendly comedy, this is the place to go. And you're in San Diego.
You know, you say that, but the last time I saw you there, you were dancing.
You saw the unrated show. We have one show every weekend that has adult content, and that was the one.
If you want to see Alan potentially dancing on a stripper pole, go to the National Comedy
Yeah.
Theater in San Diego, California.
Yeah, I do the stripper pole thing in the family friendly show.
Right. Hey, Bobby's World for Five, another great show hosted by Chris and Alan, the incredible mods, amazing chat. Have a great weekend. Well, thank you, Bobby's World. And I want to thank our mods, Lord Thoth, the Chicago Box, and Latino Slant. We appreciate you. And a reminder, go to shop.filmthreat.com. We are doing a sale. It's our Black Friday sale. You just go to shop.filmthreat.com. You get use the offer code filmthreat-ho to save 10% off of everything. We have 50 different designs of Film Threat shirts. Pick your size, pick the color, and pick the design you like for a unique shirt. I think you'll enjoy it. And also remember, Award This. Tickets are on sale for Award This. It's December 10th at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. And go to awardthis.com. Click on the link to get tickets. Use offer code FilmThreat20 to save 20% off tickets. Alan and I will be there December 10th. I am writing the script for the award show this weekend. So I thought I was going to go out and have fun. I'm like, no. You got to stay in. You have to write the script for the show. I got a lot of stuff to do related to Award This weekend. That's going to be my weekend thing. So there we are.
Comments came in.
2 more quick comments here. And Ms. P Coffee. Of course, I always thank Ms. P Coffee. Is that your comment, Alan?
Yeah, just making sure you got it.
And Glenn, our producer, our intrepid producer, Glenn Nuccio, and Dead Harvey became a YouTube member. I'm going to be posting that interview with Michael Mann about the movie Ferrari. We will review Ferrari next week. And it's okay. We're going to review Ferrari next week. Do you know what I didn't know? They made a movie a year ago called Lamborghini. This is like, oh my God. Dude, we're watching it next week. We'll do it next Wednesday.
Okay. We're not watching Lamborghini.
We're not going to watch it, but we're going to react to the trailer. I thought it was a parody. It was kind of ridiculous. So there you go. But everyone check out Award This. Go to awardthis.com. You can watch like old episodes. And it's possible that the guy, it's a comedian, he actually plays our award.
Oh, hey, Oscars, huh? Oscars can suck it! I don't even have a penis. Watch Award This at awardthis.com.
Awardthis.com. Pick up your tickets. We will be showing the show on YouTube a couple days after the event takes place, but you want to be there live. Gift bags, drinks. It's a lot of fun. Alan will be there. There you go. Yeah. And I want to thank you, just everybody who stuck with us. We had close to 1,000 people watching us today. Our numbers continue to grow. I want to thank also Yellow Flash, who did a video on one of our videos about Wish. He was basically showing our video, and we got a bump in subscribers from that. We are getting close.
We are at
97,400 subscribers. We might make it to 100,000 before the end of the year. May or may not know about that. But
there is a Santa Claus. We will make it to 100,000.
Well, I think that just means we're just not going to make it.
We're trying. I'm trying anything.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great holiday weekend. Don't get trampled at Black Friday sales. Have a great time. Alan?
Let's get out of here.